Hello. In this video, we'll show you how to set up high availability failover for your video management system workflow with the help of Surveillance Bridge for XProtect. We have a demo environment where Surveillance Bridge is already running. If you go to the High Availability menu, you'll see the currently available recording servers in your environment. There could be a lot of them. Identify the two that you'd like to use for your HA cluster. Click the first one and then use the Server HA button. Note that the Camera HA button will not make a cluster out of your recording servers and will be covered in a separate video. If you're interested in learning more about the different high availability options we provide, please refer to our video titled High Availability Strategies with Surveillance Bridge. Once you click the Server HA button, the Cluster Setup wizard will show you where you need to select the type of cluster you'll be making. Active in our case. Then we need to select the desired failover server. Only valid options will be displayed on this screen. Servers with no attached cameras and with identical infrastructure from a volume and networking configuration perspective. The next step is to assign a cluster IP address to be shared between the two nodes and review the results of the matching volumes check. You will not be able to continue if this check does not pass. Finally, click Next to apply the cluster configuration and monitor the process, stopping, configuring, and starting the respective servers. For recording servers with complicated configuration, this operation might take a while, like several minutes, for example. Once the process completes, you'll be able to find your cluster in the HA menu. The two recording servers now show up together with details about each node on the right. The first recording server is now the primary cluster node, while the second recording server is the secondary node. Both record camera data and share the same configuration as we set up an active cluster, as visible at the top. However, of the two recording servers, one will be the serving cluster member and will be shown at the top. The other will be the standby cluster member, as shown at the bottom. The switch button can be used if you would like to change the serving member. The settings button allows you to fine-tune your cluster. Extend data is used when one of the servers is being restarted, for example, or is unavailable for another reason. In such cases, the system puts placeholder data that is later replaced by the actual camera data as long as the other recording server is still functioning. This setting is enabled by default, as automatic filling in gaps in the recording timeline would not be possible if disabled. Infrastructure force is also enabled by default and means that the system will attempt to start the Milestone component services when needed. That is, if the recording server stops for whatever reason. Surveillance Bridge will try to revive it periodically. When primary force is enabled, Bridge will always try to keep the primary node serving. If the primary node fails, the secondary node will temporarily assume the serving role until the primary node is available once again. When that happens, the serving role will be returned to the primary node and the secondary node will assume the standby role once again. The network tolerance is used to control how long the system should wait before initiating a failover, since some network disruptions might be normal. Event logs allow us to see and potentially export the logs collected for this cluster. The event log detail can be further defined on the administration page as needed. The right panel includes visual and detailed information about your recording servers and allows you to disable the auto backfill if needed. Disabling the auto backfill means the data gaps will not be repopulated after a recording server recovery. This could be practical for servers that are used only for backup purposes and do not need to keep all the data whenever possible. Notice the camera live view at the bottom right corner of the screen as well. You can use it to monitor the cameras while setting your configuration changes. If you decide you no longer need the high availability cluster, you can use the Disable HA button. The system saves your pre-HA configuration and will return to it if you disable the cluster. This concludes our video showing the high availability failover setup and functionality of Surveillance Bridge. Thank you for viewing.